This is Mogul, Modern Outlook going upper levels, spotlighting our community and our youth. Be on the show. Connect with us at 419-245-4979. That's 419-245-4979. Or email londondoors@gmail.com.
And you have so many wonderful things that you're doing. We did a Facebook Live the other day.
About my second book, Degrees of Exit, which chronicles my journey through two abusive marriages. Fruit from the wisdom tree, bearing fruit in all season, life lessons in bite-sized quotes, and they are all my original quotes. I've had the cover designed. I expect to have it published or printed before the year is out.
We can talk about your book because I know there's a lot to be said about. That's a powerful word. Power is the byproduct of the aftermath of pain.
We become stronger through what we endure. Power is a byproduct of the aftermath of pain.
Whoa.
We become stronger through what we endure. How are you?
Well, hello, Mr. Delphine Reed. How you doing?
Fruit from the wisdom tree, bearing fruit in all season, life lessons in bite-sized quotes, and they are all my original quotes.
Well, hello. We have a great
Hi.
friend.
How are you?
And Mr. Delphine Reed, how you doing?
I'm doing pretty good.
That's good. We're glad to have you here in person on an interview. And you have so many wonderful things that you're doing. We did a Facebook Live the other day. We did try to interview, but this time on Zoom should be doing fine. But anyway, because I see everything going like it's supposed to. So you want to tell us, reiterate again with some of your latest projects? You have so many. So I just want to leave it in your hands so you can tell us about what you have going on, your books, and whatever else you might have going on.
Well, I'm trying to slow down some, seeing that I'm working on a project of trying to close out my mother's estate, which takes quite a bit of time. But I am working on my third book. The last interview that we had was about my second book, Degrees of Exit, which chronicles my journey through two abusive marriages. And the length of abuse was 34 plus years total between the two. I realized as I have journeyed that I've gleaned a lot of wisdom. And sometimes when I'm posting on Facebook, I'll put a sentence out there and people will just kind of gravitate towards it. Yeah, that's really true about life. So my third book is called Fruit from the Wisdom Tree, bearing fruit in all season, life lessons in bite-sized quotes, and they are all my original quotes. I've had the cover designed. I expect to have it published or printed before the year is out. But what I have come to understand about my life at a wonderful 70 years of age, which I'm very proud and thankful for to the Lord, I have so much to give, and I want to give every bit of it while I yet breathe. So another thing I'm working on to add to my business, which is Destiny Writer Ventures LLC, is life coaching. Um, as I was being interviewed this morning, when we got to the end of it, the lady says, "You know what? Actually, you sound like a coach." And it hit me that my mentor had said to me, "You're actually a coach, whether you want to admit it or not." And at that time, I didn't want to. But now, in the mouth of two or three witnesses, let every word be established. So I have started a course a couple of months ago, actually, on life coaching to become certified, which you don't have to do, but I choose to do that. And that's about all I've got going right now, which is really quite enough.
Right, that's about all. Oh Lord.
Yeah.
Okay, so the coaching end of things, you're just about to get certified for that, right?
hmm
So you're gonna
That's
go to
what I'm
that.
working on. Yes.
So, my goodness, all these things, and I'm telling you, these books they're pouring out and pouring out. Now, you want to let's talk about. Can we talk about each book briefly?
Yes, we
So
can.
the first book you first came out with, and then tell them how they can get that book.
Okay. The first one was called The Other Side of Yes, and the subtitle is Surrendering to the Purposes of God. That was actually in 2004. Um, there's something that we generally don't think about as believers when we hear a message. You have a choice of saying yes if it hits you, or kind of fooling around saying, I get to it one day.
Mm,
So when surrender, any word that you hear that is a word for you, you have to choose to surrender to that word, even if it's a positive thing.
mhm.
And it's like, okay, it's time to move on up, to another level. And it's like, I ain't ready for another level. You know what I'm saying? You have to say yes.
Yeah.
But the first book was about surrendering to God in a way that it's a lasting surrender. That is the
Mhm.
theme of that book. And
Wow.
again, I share some of my examples and experiences from my own life, how even in the midst of pain, I had to say yes. And once you say yes, it takes you through a different door, or through a door of
Mhm.
being able to see what it is God is working out in you. It's just a beautiful thing when you surrender. So that's what that book was about. It's available. That one is available on
Okay.
Amazon.com. You can look it up under The Other Side of Yes
Okay.
by Delphine Reed. The second one is Degrees of Exit, which is available at truth2triumph.com, which is TRUTHTOTRIUMPH.com. It is a website dedicated entirely to that book, with words from the author, reviews from some who have read it, the ability to order an ebook or hard copy, and a free chapter, which can also be read. It also provides on the first page of the website the ability to send me an email for any type of contact or questions. It has a page if you want me to come and speak. It'll take you to an area where you fill out a form, giving me more information about the opportunity. And the third one, I think it'll end up probably being one of my favorites. The fruit from, my printer would not print in color today, but that's what the cover looks like, but it's in color.
Mhm.
It's
It's nice.
beautiful color.
It is. It is.
And so like I said, that's my original quote. So let me see if I can just give a little uh trying to pull up one here. And they come when I'm just talking to people. And it's like, oh, that's something that others would benefit from. Let's see. An example is, power is a byproduct of the aftermath of pain.
Whoa.
We become stronger through what we endure.
Wow.
power is a byproduct of the aftermath of pain, because we do become stronger by what we endure.
You know what? You have to get permission from you. We have our at the table of prayer. Or maybe you can be a guest on there and bring that topic up so we can go in depth with it if you know you want to do something like that. Um,
About pain and
that whole little slogan, that little line that you have, power is a byproduct of pain.
the aftermath of pain.
Okay, power is the byproduct of the aftermath of pain.
Yes.
And then what's that last part?
We become stronger through what we endure.
So I like to, I'll do, if you have time, one of these times, I like to, you know, have you on a scheduled day. We do them every Thursday on Facebook Live at 3 p.m. And I would love to have you to just drop in. Maybe we can talk about, you know, have a topic and then you can come in and talk about that. You can talk about your book because I know there's a lot to be said about that's a powerful word.
Yes, it is a lot to be said about it. And we don't like pain. So we try to skirt it or avoid it. And then we end up not being able to become more powerful. When you endure a trial or a struggle, you are going to come out on the other side of it stronger.
Wow.
There's no doubt about it.
Yes.
You know, and you don't have to look for the power. It becomes a part of who you are.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's an awesome word. That like I like what you're saying about the pain. Try to skirt it. I mean, I want like if you're going through something, how can you really take yourself out of it unless you're just gonna your mind is gonna come out. Your mind is gonna. Can you get away? I don't think you can really truly get away. Can you?
You may not get away, but you can fight it so tough you stay in the process a whole lot longer than you need
Oh
to.
my, that's not good.
You know, it's like, no, I don't want to go through this. So you're fighting, and that's where surrender comes into play. You know, it's
Okay.
like, or you spending your time feeling sorry for yourself. That's a place of defeat. If you know, oh, why me? You know, Lord, you know, why?
You have a
Those
pity
types
party.
of responses keep you in a cycle, because he is going to work in us both to will and to do according to his good pleasure. That's what his word says. So if you're fighting whatever his good pleasure whatever his good pleasure is, by means of allowing things, you know, we're like clay. We're on the potter's wheel, and so he has to squeeze sometimes. No, that doesn't feel good.
Andrews, I need 1 second. I got to do this. I got to put company person in, and we're gonna keep that. This will be edited out. Don't worry.
No, you said you have to do what now?
Hold on. I need you. Hold on 1 second.
Okay.
Love you. See ya. Okay, you're welcome. You say God bless you. Love you, son. Okay. All right. Now, that's what I was
Okay.
trying. Yeah, I guess by the time I got the mask on, you didn't know what I was talking about because you probably couldn't hear it. No, I was saying, no, I was just we just had our mask on for my son because my baby boy just stopped for a minute.
Oh, okay.
And so, okay, I did kind of tell you that before. Okay, now we can get back. This, of course, will be cut out. So, back to the struggle thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. When
Yeah,
we
it's almost like that it does, and I know that feeling is the longer you wait, the longer you say I'm not going, I don't want to do this, I don't want to do this. It gets harder, and you just kind of drag it out, you know, where
Yeah,
you just don't. It almost kind of hurts more while you're waiting
it
to go
does.
through it.
It does. And that's another thing I used to tell people. You're going to experience pain one way or the other. Either the pain of disobedience or the pain of going on through and letting him work out what he wants to work out in you. So
Mhm.
I would rather experience the kind that says, okay, this hurts like ever, Lord, but I know you got me. And I
Yeah,
know you're going to bring me through it and bring me out,
yeah.
you know? So that, and also another scripture, while regarding things I went through, some of which are chronicled in the book, I think it's First Corinthians or Second. I always get confused about whether it's First or Second Corinthians, but it's in the first chapter of whichever one of those Corinthians, it is. And it talks about being able to comfort others with the comfort that God comforts us with while we're going through. So that used to be like a theme of mine. I would think at times, okay, well, what I'm going through is not just for me. It's for somebody else as well.
The scripture does say that too, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. It does.
Just like now you're telling us the things that you've gone through. Number one, we can look at you, see that you God has blessed you to be overcomer. God has blessed you to still look good, be beautiful, be healthy and strong. And everything looks just so wonderful. But then we begin to tell all the different aspects of your life, like, whoa. So that is an encouragement right in itself. Some people might be going through right now. And then we look at you, you said, well, she made it through. She made it through. So since she made it through, this means I can make it through. But then you're also letting them know that God is the source.
Definitely.
Of the strength. I like that with the power thing. Wow.
And not only, here's something I really want to emphasize, and I think the book does so as well. I did not only survive, I now thrive.
Yeah.
There's a difference. I could have come out and just spent the rest of my life, it's like, oh God, thank you. I made it out. Let me sit here and recuperate for the next 10 years. You know what I'm saying? It's like, no, I brought you out so you could be my witness to other people. Well, that's going to involve some work on your behalf to be out there, to be willing to be a voice for what I have done in you and what I want to do in others. So one of my greatest joys is being an inspiration to people in various age groups. I've had young people to say, oh, Sister Reed or whatever they want to call me. I'm not picky about that. I really, you've really inspired me. Some have gone back to school and graduate from college. I'm talking about college, some in their 40s. I used to do a workshop for seniors about strengthening the senior memory, and different ones. At the end, I sing the song, I Can Begin Again, with the passion of a child. My heart has caught a vision of a life that's still worthwhile, and it has a line that says, because new beginnings are not just for the young. And you'll see people crying, shedding tears in the audience because they realize their life is not over even as a senior, as long as they live and breathe. So it's a joy to inspire people to thrive.
We have to start again because the internet was doing something and it might come out fine. But did you say it's not for the young? Did you say that?
It says new beginnings are not just for the young. It's a song by Larnell Harris. It's called Begin Again. Okay. Old song. It's real old, but I sing it. So is there, you had difficulty hearing me or?
No, sometimes the internet, I do think when we're on Zoom, it'll slow down. And I did have another person I was doing that with, but it was understandable after I, downloaded. So, but I just kind of missed that little line and I wanted you to repeat it just in case.
Okay. That's what it says.
That's a good thing for young people to hear. Because, a lot of people do just believe sometimes when you get a certain age, it's over, but it's never over, is what you're saying.
That's what I'm saying.
And then in the beginning, like I said, a new beginning can happen anytime of life, as long as God is giving you breath in your body.
Well, anytime.
I love what you said too. Another thing I like to highlight is, I'm surviving, survival of the fittest. We're not just surviving. We want to get to the point where we thrive, because that's that middle point. I guess you're still in limbo. You just got over the bridge, but you didn't go anywhere past, before the bridge fell. You just made it out. But then you still standing there and looking at the bridge fail. I'm glad it
Uh-huh.
wasn't me. Yeah, but then so now we're gonna go. Are we gonna move forward? So that
Mm-hmm.
in that power thing you're talking about, when you do go through things and you come out, it's like God just takes you to another level. If you really are a believer and you're trusting in God, and the things that we go through, you know, and after a while you begin to kind of know that's okay. I'm going through this. This is rough, Lord. This is woo. But
Mm-hmm.
you know from past experience and this, God will put it in your spirit. Once you get through this, though, it's gonna even be better. I'm gonna take you to the next level, and the next
Mm-hmm.
level, and the next level.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a blessing to know that. We need to hear that, because if you just get stuck with your physical mind in the situation, in the rut, like you say, like let's say a stick stuck in the mud, rug stuck in
Mm-hmm.
the mud, just stuck, like stuck in tar. Now that tar you can never get out, they say.
Mm-hmm.
So we
Mm-hmm.
don't
Mm-hmm.
we don't want to what they call it, a stupor. We don't want to be stuck in that stupor. But I guess we can if we don't have some type of encouragement, if we are not talking to the Lord, and of course having somebody like you really ministering to the masses with your books, your conversation, what we're doing now. It's just you know who's going to turn this on and be looking at it and like, damn, they're going, wow, wow,
Mm-hmm.
okay. Just that tad, and the word power itself is strong. That's such a big strong word.
Yeah.
Strong word.
God is so wise. I love it pays to be led by him. It now so much of what I was able to go through was dependent upon my relationship with him. Okay. So the more the squeeze, the more of the squeeze I felt, the more I was drawing closer to him. So a relationship developed where I was willing to hear. If you look in the book of Exodus, you find the children of Israel. It's one part that says, because of the affliction, they couldn't hear. They couldn't hear. We can get to a point where if we let the pain eclipse who God is, then we won't want to hear.
Mhm.
If we say this is too much, I don't want to hear. I've had people to say, look, Lord, I don't want to hear nothing you got to say. People who do have a relationship with him, but they're very frank with that. It's like, this is too much, God. I don't even want to hear. There are people sitting in church who are going through so much. It's like, I don't want to hear another scripture. I've talked to some who have felt that way. I
Wow.
don't want to hear another promise right now because it seems like he's not coming to my rescue. It just seems like that.
It's like,
So
when is he
what my
coming?
brother who passed in February, he taught me about the value of keeping what he called a praise journal. Every
Mm.
day of the year, he found something to put in a journal that was praiseworthy. At
Wow.
the end of the year on New Year's Eve, he would go through that journal and have himself a Holy Ghost good
Oh my
time.
God. That
And
sounds like
I
I can
said,
see
but
how that can happen. Every day he woke you up. So if you don't do anything, we'll put that down every day. But then there's so much thereafter, right?
yes, yes, it is. And so I haven't done it for a year like he did it, but there's great value in having that relationship. And what I was saying about God being so wise, once I came out, now mind you, I was still in ministry going through all of this. And I heard a message by TD Jakes one time, and it talked to ministers about leading while you're bleeding. Leading while you're bleeding. That
Wow.
was a powerful word. Okay.
Mm.
So after I came out, the next church I was a part of, I didn't want to do anything. And I let the pastor know, just let me sit for a while so my healing can continue to saturate. And that's what I did. And it was okay with the Lord. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't saying I don't want to
What's
minister
the name?
anymore. In God's wisdom, he let me know you just need to exhale and just sit here and be nourished by the word, be built back up again. And that's what I did. And hey, came out on the other side of that and was ready to run.
Yeah, running, still running.
Yeah.
It becomes a natural thing, You don't look
Hmm.
tired. Don't look like you get tired. And then once you finish one project, matter of fact, you be on a couple, two, three, all at the same time. Then we have to remember while we're doing projects, then we have, regular life that goes on that we are working with as well. Um,
Definitely.
and that's another thing that a lot of people probably don't understand, because sometimes you want to do whatever you want to do and that's it. But this life is not cut like that.
You better know it. You better
I just
know it.
want to do this because I'm gonna get ahead doing this thing, and then now you got something with the family. This happened over here with mama over here, and this
Hmm.
situation happened with this. And things. It's just like things just happen, and so I believe after a while everybody understands. This life is not your own all by yourself. Period.
Mm-mm,
It belongs to
mm-mm.
God. And God said He will give you desires of your heart, things that you want to do, that you envision to do, but other things also come in the package. And so
Yeah, yes, they do. Yes, they
God
do.
teaches us to multitask, and if that's something we just might as well not get upset about it. Because I know some people come out and say, every time I get ready to do something, here comes such and such. I'm getting ready to work on my new project. Here comes right in the I'm when I'm so I know that people have, but
Yeah.
it's just a part of life. Yeah.
And he's teaching us, at least in my life, he had to teach me how to handle multiple responsibilities. And I say that at my age, I have started losing friends. It's been a lot of sorrow. I
Oh.
memorialized one on the 15th of May, a very, very dear friend. And then family members, I'm the baby in my family. So I've lost mother, father, and two
Oh.
brothers. It's just
Oh.
me and my sister. And so a part of me was like, man, Lord, can I just does it have to just keep going in this cycle? And then I realized, well, look at where you are age-wise, you are going to be losing people, and you're still here. So as long as you're here, I got to work for you to do.
Oh.
You
Uh,
you could have been one of the ones gone,
wow.
you know?
So it's like you say, you don't want to see them leave, but that's just a part of life itself. Is
Hmm.
when the time's up, right?
Yes, it
But in the
is.
end, like you said, you're the younger one and the dependable one. I know how that is. Like you are the one. I
Mhm.
believe that probably every family probably has at least that one. If there's
Yes,
nobody else, you got one
yes.
that's got to whatever. Had my son, my brother told me you're the rock of this family, but he didn't know I wasn't trying to be the rock. If you say that's a compliment, buddy, look, I wasn't trying to do this, that, and then, everything's cool when everything's cool with everybody. When things start to rock and shake, and here they come. And I'm going
Mhm.
like, and I'm the one they already know uh that I'm gonna try to help. I'm gonna do my best.
Exactly.
They know,
Exactly.
especially with your loved one, with your brother, your sister, your mom, your dad, your child. What you gonna do? But no, believe it. A lot of people don't think that way. Everybody,
No.
because I found the ones that's even close to me don't think that way. Like they may live 1,000, 2, 3, 4,000 miles away, and such and such is going on, and sometimes they don't even check in. If you know something going on, you don't even. Can I get a phone call? And I don't know. It could be fear. You know what I mean? When things start to, because things like that. When I had to, and I love my parents. You know how we love our parents, and I always would say, when I grew up, something my dad said when I was a little bitty girl. If I get too old, I don't want to be no burden on you. Both my mom and dad said that, and I probably couldn't have
Mhm.
been more than 4 or 5. I just want y'all to just put us in the nursery. Oh, I started googling crying. I said I'll never do that. I'll never, never, never do. And I did. But it was. They used to say, "Well, my brothers and sisters, see this. Don't get mad." But my father told me this. He said, "You're the only one," and it was a pleasure taking care of him until the Lord took him home. He was 90 something years old. Same thing with my
Mhm.
mother. She said, "You're the only one." I'm like, wow.
Woo.
And then I'm like, then for them, my father said, he said, "I love you to death." He told me, "I love you to death," like that. So it's some blessings in the work that you do, but you think this is something automatic. This is what you're supposed to do. That's your mom. That's your dad. You know,
Mhm.
uh, it's your brother. I've gone out of town to help my brother and all kind of stuff. I'm like, oh, yeah, they don't have a problem calling you on the phone. They know who to call.
Mhm.
But
Yes, they do. Yes,
it
they
was,
do.
to me, it was, I didn't think about it was a problem. I didn't want to do it. I know, you want the best for your loved ones. So,
Mhm.
I'm making the trip. But I had to realize that, everybody cannot, it's not built to handle it, you know.
That's true, but the thing that I found most challenging was when those same loved ones don't seem to have an understanding of what it's doing to you. They keep on, you know, I remember when my brother who passed in February, all the years that I was taking care of my mother, he he lived down the street from her. He lived closer to her than anyone. Okay, he was a double amputee. I understand that he couldn't do much, but when I would, when he would ask me how's it going, and I would tell him trying to unload some of the pressure, he would quickly change the subject. Okay, it wasn't until near the end of his life, he was saying, I just want to thank you for everything you did to mom, did for mom, because you did so much.
Mm.
It was like this great recognition. My sister has Alzheimer's, and she, in her heart, this is amazing, she would say, you carry so much, I wish I could help you. She understands that she can't, you know
Oh,
so it's like, I had the best conversation with her the other day, because sometimes she's there and sometimes, so I called her and I said, how are you? She said, I'm okay. How about you? I said, well, I'm okay. She said, just okay. I said,
oh,
yeah, I'm just trying to learn how to, cast some things off. She said, well, you got this good heart and you always trying to help somebody. She said, so what you gonna do about it? When the phone rings, you gonna tell them you getting out the business, you ain't in that business no more. I said, girl, you are so hilarious. She's still comical, but I said, no, I won't say that, but I'm learning how let something go to voicemail. And when I listen to it, if it's something I feel like I need to address, then I will. If not, I'm learning. She said, because you're gonna don't let that kill you. And I thought, oh, you're right.
He told you. Yeah,
Mhm.
there comes some common sense in the midst of this, because I remember even in years ago, um, I'll say my doctor's appointments. And my family's everybody's still young, some teenagers, young, grown but young. We still working together, whatever. And things happening over here, things happening over there. We go to the doctor visit. Doctor said, "So, what are you gonna do?" He said, "What you think? You think nobody can make it without you?" He started talking to me like that. And I'm looking at him like, but they asked him to. He said, "What do you think if something happened to you? What do you think
Mhm.
they're gonna do?" I said, "They're gonna keep going." He said, "Yep, they're gonna keep
Mhm.
going." He said, "So don't kill yourself." That's what he told me. Don't kill
Mhm.
yourself.
Yeah.
In
Yep.
some
Yep.
situations, it's like you have to. You have to. You got to go through it. But I guess we have to learn. We learn as how to do it. We got to find somewhere to take care of ourselves in between. But
Yes, you do.
that's the thing. That's the thing. If we can find a way to do that. But I will still say that I'm thankful to God to be able to, like the woman of God, bless you to do all that you do. Over time, you begin to learn a bit more common sensibility
Mhm.
and
Yes, you do.
balance
Yes, you do.
on how to do things. And I just, you also, I believe in my life, I see God continuously changing things, smoothing things out,
Mhm.
more smooth sailing. Even if something does arise, we know about that prayer factor. We need to keep that prayer thing going all the time. Just don't have a good prayer today and tomorrow, but then also
Mhm.
just pray to God to keep you. That's like something we
Yes.
need to do ahead of time. Stay in prayer, thank God, praise Him, then ask Him to keep you from the storm. So if a storm does arrive, then God is so good. He'll buffer us in through it.
Mhm.
That's the great thing about God. And even in the hard times, when you're talking about why you're going through, you still gonna feel the hand of God. That's why we
Yes.
that's why we need God.
Yes. You still. He is a present help in time
Indeed.
of trouble.
Mhm.
How that help comes, it could be help in keeping your mind when you feel like you going over the edge.
Lord,
He's a
yeah.
present help. We I came up in a setting where you were taught, you can rebuke this and you can rebuke that, and you don't have to go through this and you don't have to go through that. When you read the New Testament, and even the Old, you find people went through things, Paul with a shipwreck, getting bitten by a snake, all kinds of things. And the scripture talks about, going through the fire, so those are not light things. But we go through, and that's where he proves himself, because we come out. So you don't, what helped me to go through too is I had testimonies with God. I had testimonies of other things he had done. So it's like, okay, let me, like the children of Israel, he told them, put the things on your arms, put them on your forehead. Remember what I have done. Remember what I've said to you, so that when you get in the next storm, because they do come, you can know that the same God, I am still, I am. I was, I am, and I am is going to see you through this thing too. It's just, I have fallen in love with God. Okay. I'm in love with him. Scripture says he's a lover of our soul. And, there's some, just thinking on the natural realm, how some women never want to be without a man. If he so desires to bless me that way, I'm still open to that. But I have learned how to let him fulfill my life, where there's not this big void, like, oh, what can I put in this void right here? No, he can fill up everything.
That's right. That's it.
Yep.
And that's little stuff to him. Because if he'll do that for you, and he'll do it for me, the lady, man down the street, all at the same time. That's how this awesome God is.
That's amazing. I was telling my prayer partner, he hears everybody at the same time. He's able to send whatever help is needed at the same time. That is just mind blowing, boy. I tell you.
It is. It is.
Yes, indeed.
That's a good place to be. I guess that's why that ministry, God placed it on, like you and us, because we want to share. We want to share the word. God wants us to do that. Actually, he tells us about being a light for him, and he wants to share, because that draw others into the body of Christ, and then God will make your life like that. Take that breath. This thing, if God wasn't there, I don't even want to think about it. Boy, I'm telling you.
No.
You know what I'm saying? Even for the things that you've been through, God was there all the time. Sometimes we talk about that. So look like you're standing right in the middle of a storm here, hurricane. Everything flying by your head, everything falling down in the hole, everything. Guess what? You're still standing. You're still standing and covered. And the only thing that's kind of, like I said, mind blowing is watching it. Like, oh my Lord. Like that scripture said, 1,000 shall fall at thy side, 10,000 at the right hand, but only thy eyes shall see. You will see everywhere. Oh my goodness.
Oh yes.
Sometimes
Oh yes.
We have to keep from being devastated from what we see. Not devastated because it happened to us, but the idea to watch it, like, oh Lord. Now then you can just reflect on, I'm so glad. So glad I got Jesus.
Yes. Even in the present scenario in our nation and world.
Yes.
I put on Facebook this morning for the intercessors. I said, there is spiritual wickedness in high places, and the tentacles, the claws and fangs of it are, reaching throughout our nation. So don't you ever stop praying in this season, because we desperately need it. What man has not been able to do, and then not that they're not trying, and some things are working, like when Biden was elected, when, the people rallied, and now in so many states, they're trying to just use local governments to block democracy and make a pathway for dictatorship is really what's going on. But I said, Lord, and then when it comes to the killing of our Black people, I've been groaning in prayer for, I said, you brought the children of Israel out of Egypt. Please bring us out of this.
Yes,
this
Lord.
nightmare. I got 5 black sons,
Yes, yes.
please God. My son was in an accident a couple of days ago, and when the police came to, an older gentleman ran into him on the passenger
Mhm.
side, left the scene, went down the block and ran into somebody else,
Yes, Lord. Wow.
but at any rate, he had me on the phone while he was talking with the officers, and they were kind of nice, and he asked would one of them drop him off at down the street at his job. He was working Happy's Pizza that day because normally his job is at Greektown.
Mhm.
And he he said when he got in the back of that police car and saw how there were no windows for breathing. Like I rode in the back of one when I did a ride along with the police department when I was in the criminal justice program.
Oh,
It is a tight, scary place. He said he knew that he would rather walk than take the chance of not knowing what may happen. They searched his vehicle. He said they went in the trunk.
mm.
Now you're in an accident. This is not like something you had thought about.
Suddenly they're seeing if you're the criminal or for something else.
Hmm
You're just trying
But that
to
was an illegal search. They had no business doing that. But he said,
Right.
well, Mom, because I live in Taylor, I'm not going to report it because then they might be out for me. That's a sad way to have to live.
That's a sad way to have. Yep, yep. Well,
Mm,
see that now, it's interesting. I'm glad you're talking about what's going on in the world today because I kind of wanted to get your take on that. So I didn't have to ask you because you did, because that was in my mind. And I wasn't sure, if we are going to go that direction, but you brought that up about the prayer. Um, so you just basically just brought it to that direction about praying and the state of the country, of
mhm.
where we are and the effects of all the things that's happening. Wow, you explained it so well when you said even the high places and all the tentacles that's reaching out and just
Yes.
you
Yep.
know, and then wow, the like I say, each state now are want to make their own rules and regulations because they want to
Mhm.
block what is right. So what we're seeing now is truth. We're seeing the truth of the mind of the people which have been in existence all the time.
Mhm.
But you must know that it must be getting better or getting to the point of breaking if each one of these states feel that they have to block it. So,
Mhm.
well, we're gonna use our own government to block the United States. How do you do that? You know what I'm saying? So, but they're making rules and regulations on that.
Mhm. What is interesting, what I found interesting, on the anniversary of the death of George Floyd, they also highlighted the 100-year anniversary of Tulsa, of the Black Wall Street Massacre, Tulsa,
Mm.
Oklahoma. And so this story is being shown on different networks about Black Wall Street. And I think that kind of plays into what you're saying. I know at least in my personal walk with the Lord, when he begins to bring something to my attention about my own life, is something he's getting ready to deal with.
You can deal with it.
And
Yeah.
he'll put the spotlight on that thing and say,
Mhm.
okay, you may not want to see it, when he start dealing with you individually, but it's like, okay, okay, that's me, Lord. That's me. I can't deny it. Okay. And but I was telling someone the other day, I said, the thing that I am uh talking to you about, that God is dealing with you about, he's getting ready to work on that thing if you let him.
You can let it.
And I think that's where we are as far as
Yeah.
what we've been crying out to God about in with these murders. They wanted to write Black Wall Street out of history, but it's
Mhm.
here in the
Yeah.
face of the people on
Yeah.
major news networks.
Yeah. Amazing.
Story. Um, so yeah, I believe you're right with that. That it is coming to the forefront because change, and you can sense some change taking place, but the resistance to it is about 100 times greater than the change
That's what
right
it is.
now.
That's what it is. And so that's why we have, like, say, that prayer. That's a good thing. You're saying that prayers. One time I said that we were having our at the table of prayer, and I said, "Look, people, we're talking right now, but we need to pray about it. We need to, even if we're not there, hold hands or whatever and say a prayer, but we need to keep this prayer going strongly, because God can change anything. That's what we need to remember. That God, he can change it, he can turn it, he can stop it, he can start whatever. God can do it. And that's what he wants us to remember. That because he says, if you're his child, whatever you should ask for in my name, he said, I will do it. So, if we're in the will of God, if we're his children, then that prayer is going to be answered. Because, of course, God can't lie. He doesn't lie. But
Right.
it's within us to know that and to believe that, and not just set that on the mantelpiece right there, and just you don't use what with the power that be within you that God has given you. We need to be able to use it more. So conversations like this, and people like you say, you telling people we need to continue to pray. You put places on this era of media, social media is a great thing, because now you can reach out to people that you don't even know, could be anywhere, not even in the United States. But we are seeing a lot of people retaliating, and it's like we've been knowing this the whole time. We haven't seen it like this. Like, it's so, when our former president came out and was so happy to bear his thoughts and himself, which allowed others that follow him to come, okay, we are going to show you how we feel about everything. And that's where we are. And it kind of reminds me, because this is an incident in my life that reminds me, when the enemy is sneaky, he's going to keep quiet and try to sneak up on you. Well, there's something that happened. I think I kind of called. I was talking to somebody now. I I didn't call him out, but I did. I stated what it was, and you would have thought that the devil out the ground and went crazy. So what happened? What happened was, as long as it seemed that I was either not aware, or that it was hidden, but when I pulled the cover off, he went crazy. So that I believe that's where we are now. Everything's out for us to see. Now we are a part of this working itself out, because this has been going on. A lot of these things have been going all the time. Now every time you see something, a killing or whatever, now they have the camcorder or somebody standing around with a device, and it's just that the facts are there, so you just can't hide it like that anymore.
Right.
And the distance is, with all the things that's going on, and the guy, the officer that killed George Floyd, got his sentence, whatever. You would think that you would see this type of thing slow down, but you still see it going on. So what is this entitlement that people feel that they have to, what else, So we know in the end, around there somewhere, God is still got his hands on the people. And the change is coming. This is part of our change, I believe. It hurts. It keeps, everything is erupting. And the part of the eruption, everything happens when something erupts until it's all over and out. This kind of reminds me about what you said about power. And I have to have you say that again. About power. Say it, because I want you to say it right for me, because I'm not getting it right. I know what to say, but I want you to say that about that slogan of power.
The quote about power. You want me to say it again? You said.
I do. Yeah.
Okay. Power is a byproduct of the aftermath of pain. We become stronger through what we endure.
Now that word is powerful. And when you apply to what I was trying to say about all the things that the world's going through, how it erupts. Okay, after this, we gain power. But look at all the pain and issues that we have to go through, that we have to see, that people are going through. We have to remember, you got guys, people standing by praying. The prayers are going forth. I know the prayers are going forth. God is watching. God didn't make this mess, man did. Man didn't be obedient. And then if you listen to all the characteristics in the Bible that can cause a man to sin this way, which would be hate, jealousy, greed, and control. And when a person, this is control. This is, like you said, evil and high place. But God is he's the ultimate.
I was looking up a scripture that I wanted to make sure I was right about because it kind of, let's see where we at here. I think it's Psalm 107. I didn't ask you to go that way, Siri, whoever you. But it's the Psalm. I think it's 107. It's the Psalm that talks about. I was going to bring out God is sovereign. Also, He's never just working on one thing. The United States has undoubtedly also positioned themselves for judgment. It's kind of no doubt about that with some of the things that have gone on in the past where he tried to get our attention, you know. So even in the midst of judgment, if that's what's going on simultaneously, God still has an exit date and he still has compassion. In that psalm, it talks about the different things the children of Israel did, but it goes on to say, but they cried unto the Lord.
Yeah.
And he did such and such. And then it'll give another scenario of them getting into some kind of predicament, but they cried unto the Lord.
Yeah.
You know, so that's why we cannot forsake crying unto the Lord.
Yes.
You know, even in judgment, there's still the purpose of trying to bring corrective redemption. You know, it's not to say, oh, you've been so bad, I'm gonna stick it to you and until it kills you. It's not about that. When we have erred in our ways, even in our personal lives, sometimes things come that are necessary to get us back on course. They provide course correction, but he is loving even in his chastisement.
Yeah.
You know, he is something else.
He's awesome. He's awesome. I'm telling you. And so, you know, when you know, people like you and I, or people that know this about God, you know, he's it. That's it. There's the one. He's the one that handles the whole situation, like you said. You talk about he's a sovereign God because he knows he could have. That's that grace and mercy what he could have done, because you know we're definitely not in the right way with him. And so he still loves us.
Yes, he
Still
does.
takes care of us. Even us in our wrong, even some folks that even come to Christ and don't even want to believe in Christ, he's still blessing these people. That's the sovereignty about him, sovereignness, what you would say. But the thing is, his word doesn't change because there is going to be the effect to whatever happens. It's going to be something that happens because of what we've done. So in other words, whatever you put out, you get back. You sow good seed, you're going to get some great growth, some great. You sow bad seeds, watch out. You know, so those things don't change. They just don't change. So it's deep. It could be so deep when we talk about things like this. And I like, you know, some people, I had a gentleman say to me, trying to figure out why are people going through this so much? Why? And people have their own ideas, you know, and some of it could be some validity to it. Some of it doesn't make sense. But I guess people are trying to figure out what and why and what, you know. So this is why we have to just hold on to God, and pray for right, and then also, you know, when we think about today, uh, you have the new generations of people. And it's along with you know the baby boomers or whatever you want to call it, folks that was around beforehand. And right here, I believe this is where we are bridging the gap, whether we're trying to or not, because we all agree that these things have to change. Um, and some of the younger people are taking leadership in the fact that no, you're not. And so, even in the middle of the murder, the slaughter, and all this, you know, people are speaking out. In times past, we spoke out. You saw what happened. In times past, people were beat, killed, thrown in jail uh, because of speaking out. But as you can see, we still speak out. And now the change is we will talk about a change. It's not just us as an African American, but you have other people involved. And then you see they've come together for this sole purpose of how do you treat a human being, not how you know you treat a black person. Then they have the Asian situation going on. So and then you have the Jewish situation. And you go over to the other country. I believe they said it's the, I don't know if it's the Arabs and the Jews. I don't want to get it wrong. Uh, Fighting against each other. That's been going on since the beginning of time in some of the old
Mm-hmm.
countries. You know, so
It made
God is
me,
good.
when you think about the plagues that came out while you were talking, I was thinking about how many plagues there were where the children of Israel had to uh, either see or, see what God was doing, and yet he left them in the bondage while these
Mm,
things were going on. But it took those things to work on the enemy.
mm,
So when the time came for them to come out, they came out with some of the enemy's stuff. They were given the goods. It was like, yeah, y'all take some of our stuff, just get on out of here. So we don't know what
yeah.
position we may be in as leading things more so in this nation when the exit time comes from these things. We just don't know.
Well, what's interesting? Because we are leading in this nation, and you can see the evolution of it happening right now.
Mm-hmm,
Even with
mm-hmm,
all the murderer, he hates you. You don't need to do this. You're ignorant, black, so and so. That even in the midst of these not true conversations and attitudes still rising,
mm-hmm. That's true.
evolving. There are leaders. There are people that are continuing. Now I'm looking at at television, you got TV or any commercials now, and they're like, okay, they putting a whole lot of other folk on there.
Mm-hmm,
Um,
mm-hmm,
One thing that I do know this, and it's a smart move, is because uh, African Americans and other people other than what we think are just the main folk are a great commodity, which they know. I don't think we knew it. We
mm,
didn't know how great that we are, and so we have money. You have to appeal to us if you want us to buy, to listen to
mm-hmm,
you, to talk to you, to support you. So yeah, you have to keep showing our faces. You have to start putting us in position,
mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
because
mm-hmm,
if we don't see enough of that, we're gonna like, well, I don't see it. None of us over there. So
mm-hmm,
I don't see
mm-hmm,
none of us over there constantly. I don't think I want to go in there. So I
mm-hmm,
think that it finally hit them, and it's been hitting them for a while. That even if you don't like them, even if you hate them or whatever your problem is, you need to learn how to work with them, because this is part of, you can't get ahead. It's like you want to if you ignore this grand amount of population that you say
mm-hmm.
is not that big, but really is large. If you ignore that, then you're gonna miss a lot of things that you could have that you want to get. As a matter of fact, what this pandemic showed us, that if you don't get support from the people for your business, there will be no business.
Mm-hmm.
So now that
Exactly.
happens, it doesn't matter who you are, where you're from. But if you stop uh getting the support, getting the finances, you know, somebody come in you don't like, you snarl at them, whatever. But now I think some of the snarling they're probably going to cease, because now I just want to get, because you almost lost this. Just shows you that we need each other.
We
We
do.
all
We
just need
do.
each other. Doesn't matter what race, creed, color, man, woman, boy, girl. We need each other, and we feed off of each other, and we can do that in a good way. So
Mm-hmm.
there's a lot of lessons learned into what we've been through.
Oh
Um,
yeah. Oh
Open up the
yes.
eyes for us to see, and just to know that the enemy is still busy, but God, if we turn to God to protect, with that protection to protect us from us, but he's got his own network out there. But now we can see the network, like those tentacles you were talking about.
Mm-hmm.
We see
Mm-hmm.
them, like, whoa, and so people, to get alarmed or fearful, like, we're getting alarmed at something that's already been there, but we just act like you said. Now you actually see it. You're like, what? But it's been
Mm-hmm.
happening the whole time. So we're gonna say we know that God is good, God is great, and God is still blessing His folks in the midst. He's
Mm-hmm.
blessing so many people in the midst of whatever. He's still
Yes, he is.
blessing people. People are rising. People are being successful. We're not just talking about African American. We're talking about people in general.
Mm-hmm.
The good of God still reigns, in the midst of this, and you can just see
Yes.
the fight. But God has that power word again. Is an awesome, it's an awesome word right there. It's an awesome slogan right there. The more I talk, the more I think about what you said. But that thing applies to so many different areas.
Oh,
And
yes. Yes, it
and
does. Yes, it
mhm.
does.
So
Mm-hmm.
now we'll be talking in about an hour, up an hour. So what I want to do with this might be go in a couple parts. I would
Mm-hmm.
like to feature a little bit of this on this WHPR TV 33 because then I can tell you about it. You can go to live stream and see it while it's on the television. So I'm probably
Okay.
going to put a little piece of this on there, but this will probably be on Comcast as well. And this just about a whole hour, so I'll be able to put 2 half hours on back to back so they'll see it. But of course, this thing will go on in entirety on to on the. Maybe I can call you so we can holler on Facebook and say, "Hey, look at this," and they can just watch the whole thing on Facebook live,
Mm-hmm.
and then of course it'll go on YouTube. So there's a lot of places that this will go that you will get a chance to see it and be blessed by it. And I'm so excited and happy that we can talk to each other, we can see each
Yeah.
other,
Yes.
and for all the
Yes.
years that we didn't.
Yeah.
Hey, the
30
year,
something years, I
I
guess.
can't even believe the time went by that fast.
Wow, really. I'm
But
telling
God,
you, you know, I
but
have
God,
hmm
mhm.
I had one of my aunts turned night. My mother's sisters, you know, my mom died at 98. My mother's sister, she had one that died at 91. One had a birthday in April. She was 93. And the one
uh,
whose birthday is in June, she'll be 91. I, this you may, well, I don't guess this. Can I show you a picture and it not be made part of the Zoom, or you want me to wait till later?
okay, I can cut it out. I can cut it out. I can
Okay.
look at it.
Okay. Let me do this. She will be 91. Okay. Oh, my library. Okay. Um, okay. She had a little stroke, but that's my mother's sister who will be 91. This was
What?
taken recently.
She looks too good.
Yes,
She
yes.
really
They
do.
say we kind of favor. She used to wear natural like me, and she
Uh huh.
just got that done. She's in a facility, but yeah, she's I call her a little fast bad girl.
Yeah, I'm sure she looks so young.
Yes, and my mother did too. You know, it just and my aunt who died at 91, she was still had beautiful. I got to keep my legs looking, you know, sexy fiend. You know, I'm telling you, it's like, oh my gosh, my aunts. But longevity is something he has blessed our family with, on
Amen.
my mom's side,
Yeah.
especially.
Mhm.
Um, so it kind of, I was telling the young lady who interviewed me this morning, she had like an Australian accent. I meant to ask her, you know, where she was from. But at any rate, I told her, I said, years ago when I was going through psychosomatic illnesses, which is like you're not feeling well and there's nothing really wrong with you, but your
Right.
depression has caused you to feel ill or
Mhm.
think you got something going on. And so at that time, my dad said something to me, and it has stayed with me through the years. He didn't know what I was going through because I wouldn't tell my parents. I didn't want them to, I told her I didn't want them to hire a hitman, you know,
Right. Right.
because my daddy was in the labor movement. You know, he took a pictures on Facebook with Jimmy Hoffa during the convention. And I thought, you know, you don't want to tell your daddy what's going
Right.
on.
Right. Right.
But he said to me, he said, you will live a long time and help a lot of people. This is when I was going through all these sicknesses and stuff. And it was like, those words have stayed with me. And now in this season of my life, well, some people say and others as well, but I really see the potential to help masses of people, not just, you know, I did what God gave me to do in seasons past, but I see a a greater impact coming because of things like social media, because of things like
Yeah.
Zoom
Yeah.
conferences and what
Yeah.
have you. So I'm open. My mind is open to what he wants to do. What I don't know how to do, I can learn how to do. Okay. That's another thing
Amen.
we let hinder us.
Right.
I don't
Get
know how to
mine.
do that. Well, you can find out how to do it. Okay.
Amen. Amen. That's right.
Hmm.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, it's been a great pleasure. I guess we'll have to get back together again. Like I
Yeah.
said, I would like to have you on that. Maybe we can do a special Zoom on at the table of prayer. We haven't done that yet. I'm not. I have to see who's prepared, and who's not. I think people that don't want to be seen don't have to be. You can just hear them. But I
Mhm.
like to get you on there with that, and so we can talk about your your quote, that particular quote about the power, and just your book, and get some input on the conversation. Which I know that you probably have some awesome things that you can say and add to that ministry. So God bless you, Miss Delphine. Is there anything else you want to say before we go?
No, you said that's on a Thursday.
Yeah, usually on Thursdays at 3, and we can talk and find out when you want to do it, if you're available.
Okay.
Um, and matter of fact, you let me know if you're available this week. But if not, we can move to another one.
You mean next week?
Yeah, next Thursday. It'll be Thursday.
Okay. We're going into, that's the third. I don't show anything on here. It sounds like something I would like to participate in, that I would like to check out to, when it comes to talking about prayer and things, or praying. Now, I love to pray, so whatever. But yeah.
I would just like, if you decide to do it, I would like for you to you'll be our guest, and I want to use your slogan as the topic, so you
Oh,
can
I
lead
see
us.
what you're saying. Okay, I see what
Yeah,
you're
I'd like
saying.
you to lead
Okay.
the conversation with that. You have the other ministers. I'll give them give them your topic, because we kind of go around the table, kind of, and everybody
Oh, okay. Okay.
conversation. But you would be the main headline for that program. Now that'll be the first time that we've ever had something like this, but it would be great because of what we get that slogan, and with your permission, I can send it to them, and I can say and send them your picture and say we're going to have this very special guest here. This is the topic and the slogan for the author, book writer. You got to send me the name of the book and all that to get covered. What's happening, what's coming up, and then what they'll do, they'll find they'll get that in their mind. When I go to them, they'll bring whatever God has given them, what they got out of your slogan.
Oh yeah, that sounds beautiful.
Sounds great. I'm telling you.
Yeah.
So if you're available, please send me that slogan so I have it right. That slogan, and I'll send your picture. I think this will be exciting. And I may tell them, see if we can try Zoom. If they can, let's go ahead and make a Zoom meeting out of it. If not, you know what? I have yet to connect Zoom to Facebook. That's what I was trying to do with you today. And I didn't find it in my Zoom where I could link to the live stream. But I want to see if by that time if I can get it together. So because that way they'll be able to see us all together talking or whatever.
Okay, I'm going to send you. Is your phone with you?
Yep.
Oh, you want to stop recording it or something? I mean, we're just doing general.
Yeah, I'm still talking. Okay, but anyway, we're gonna end this up. Well, everybody, we just thank you for being here today. We had a great reality show with Miss Delphine Reed, book writer, author, uh, coach, and just a blessing to this world. Amen. We thank you so much, Miss Delphine. We love you, and you all look forward to seeing Miss Delphine again. She'll be appearing again on. We're looking at the table of prayer as a special guest. So, Miss Delphine, you want to say anything before you want to say bye, whatever you want to say?
Well, as always, there were the 2 times that we've done something like this. It is a privilege. I want to say that no matter, keep this thought, everybody who's listening, no matter what God has given you to do, wear humility like a garment, and let it be a garment that you never disrobe from. You can take off your clothes and go to bed, but never disrobe from humility. That's what I want to leave as a thought. No matter how high he takes you, no matter what he does, wear humility like a garment that you never take off.
That's awesome.
So thank you for this privilege.
Thank you for being here. God bless you. And we'll talk to you again. Have a blessed day, Miss Delphine.
Thank you.
Okay, now I'm going to.
This is Mogul modern outlook going upper levels, spotlighting our community and our youth. Be on the show. Connect with us at 419-245-4979. That's 419-245-4979. Or email londondoors@gmail.com.
And you have so many wonderful things that you're doing. We did a Facebook Live the other day.
About my
We tried to
second
interview.
book, Degrees of Exit, which chronicles my journey through 2 abusive marriages. Fruit from the wisdom tree, bearing fruit in all season, life lessons in bite-sized quotes, and they are all my original quotes. I've had the cover designed. I expect to have it published or printed before the year is out.
We can talk about your book because I know there's a lot to be said about. That's a powerful word. Power is the byproduct of the aftermath of pain.
We become stronger through what we endure. Power is a byproduct of the aftermath of pain.
Whoa.
We become stronger through what we endure. How are you?
Well, hello, Mr. Delphine Reed. How you doing?
Fruit from the wisdom tree, bearing fruit in all season, life lessons in bite-sized quotes, and they are all my original quotes.